Welcome back the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a story that has been circulating online and has raised more questions than answers. A story involving Andrew, a man whose wild nights, unsettling behavior, and shocking party antics have left people around him uncomfortable, embarrassed, and genuinely disturbed. What really happens behind closed doors? Why do so many people walk away from his parties feeling humiliated? And how did things get so out of control? Stay with me until the end, because the details are more shocking than you might expect. The story begins in a small private event held at a luxury apartment in the city, where Andrew had invited a close group of friends. On the outside, the party seemed normal: music, drinks, laughter, casual conversation. But as the evening progressed, Andrew's behavior slowly shifted from playful to deeply unsettling. It started with harmless jokes, the kind of banter you'd expect among friends. But Andrew's personality that night felt different. He craved attention in a way that pushed him into extremes. He wanted to be the loudest in the room, the funniest in the room, and the one everyone's eyes were on. What began as silly teasing turned into inappropriate comments and uncomfortable pranks that quickly escalated beyond what anyone expected. He began targeting individuals, choosing people at random and pulling humiliating stunts that left them embarrassed. At first, people laughed it off, believing it was part of his party persona, but soon the pranks became cruel and oddly calculated. Andrew seemed to enjoy watching people squirm, almost as if the discomfort fueled him. Several guests recalled how Andrew would force people into awkward situations, daring them to participate in lewd challenges or encouraging everyone to laugh at someone else's expense. The energy in the room shifted. What should have been a fun night turned into an environment where people were constantly on edge, unsure of what Andrew would do next. Throughout the night, he kept introducing bizarre and inappropriate games, each one more uncomfortable than the last. These games didn't feel spontaneous. They felt deliberately designed to humiliate someone. People whispered to one another, questioning what was going on with him. Yet no one confronted him directly. His presence was overwhelming, and his unpredictable behavior made it difficult for anyone to step in. At one point, Andrew orchestrated a prank that crossed every possible boundary. Instead of laughter, the room fell silent. You could feel the embarrassment radiating from the person he targeted, their face flushed, their body language stiff. Even the people who usually encouraged wild party antics were shocked. It was no longer fun. It was simply wrong. The moment was so uncomfortable that several guests slipped out early, leaving behind the tense atmosphere and slow music that had once filled the room with excitement. Andrew didn't seem to notice the shift. He continued acting as though everything was perfectly normal, laughing loudly, making crude jokes, and sticking to his bizarre antics. But the truth is, people talk. And the story of that night traveled fast. A few weeks later, Andrew was invited to another gathering. People hoped he had changed, that maybe his last outburst was just an off night. But if anything, he was worse. This time, he arrived at the event with an energy that felt forced, almost like he was trying to prove something. He started drinking quickly, and as his intoxication grew, so did his desire to shock and entertain. Several people described him as intense, overly touchy, and completely out of control. His jokes were inappropriate from the very beginning. His pranks were calculated. He zeroed in on individuals he thought were easy targets, making them the center of attention even when they didn't want it. One guest said it felt like Andrew treated the party like his own personal stage, and everyone else were unwilling participants. The most disturbing part was how he seemed to thrive on humiliation. When someone looked embarrassed, he pushed harder. When someone was clearly uncomfortable, he made him the focus of the room. As the night went on, his behavior became dangerously unpredictable. He proposed twisted party games that involved shocking dares, personal exposure, and humiliating challenges. People refused, but Andrew kept pushing, insisting it was all just fun. But the tension had already filled the room. One person finally spoke up, telling him to calm down, and Andrew reacted aggressively. His mood switched instantly from forced cheerfulness to hostility. He felt attacked, even though the only intention was to stop him from hurting others. Instead of backing down, he turned the spotlight on the person confronting him, trying to ridicule them in front of the group. But this time, people didn't stay silent. The group began calling out his behavior, making it clear that the night was no longer enjoyable. For the first time, Andrew seemed caught off guard. His confidence cracked. He tried to defend himself, claiming people were being too serious, but the room wasn't buying it anymore. Guests began gathering their belongings, stepping outside for air, and refusing to participate in anything he suggested. Word about this second incident spread even faster than the first. People began questioning why Andrew behaved this way. Was it insecurity, a need for validation, or something deeper and darker? Was it attention-seeking gone too far, or a pattern of behavior that he simply didn't care to control? Some believed Andrew used parties as an outlet to express parts of himself he hid in everyday life. Others thought he enjoyed the feeling of power, the ability to embarrass someone, control a situation, or dictate the mood in the room. A few people considered the possibility that Andrew didn't understand boundaries at all, or worse, didn't respect them. Regardless of the reason, the consequences followed him. Invitations stopped coming. People began warning others about his unpredictable party antics. Stories circulated online, painting a picture of someone whose behavior was no longer eccentric or playful, but deeply concerning. The same person who once had a reputation for being the life of the party now had a reputation for ruining them. Some tried speaking to him privately, hoping he would acknowledge the problem. But Andrew denied everything. He insisted people were exaggerating, being dramatic, or taking things the wrong way. He dismissed every complaint, every worry, every attempt to help. But the truth can't be ignored forever. As more people shared their experiences, a pattern emerged: humiliation, inappropriate games, lewd pranks, and an unsettling desire for control. These events weren't random. They were consistent. And every person who described their experience with Andrew seemed to hold the same uncomfortable emotion, a mixture of embarrassment and disbelief. The question now becomes, what happens next? Will Andrew confront his behavior and change? Or will he continue down a path that pushes everyone around him away? The people who once defended him are now distancing themselves. The ones who stayed silent are finally speaking up. And the truth about his disturbing party antics is no longer hidden behind music, alcohol, and dim lighting. Whether Andrew changes or continues ignoring the consequences is something only time will reveal. But one thing is certain: the people around him are no longer willing to tolerate his behavior. And maybe, just maybe, that's the wake-up call he needs. Thank you for watching. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Andrew will change, or is this behavior beyond repair? Until next time, stay informed, stay aware, and I'll see you in the next video.